I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could please remain standing for a moment of silence for men and women of the armed forces, past and present. Thank you. Present. Here. Present.
President Gabriello. Here. President Morrow.
Here. Okay.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. We have a big agenda tonight. As we go through the night, I'll introduce the guests that we have in the back that are looking to help us out the best they can. Like always, I'd like to just start off with Suffolk County Police Department, Sergeant Lutz, to give his report. Did you come and draw Pedro?
How you doing? A couple of things from last month that we talked about. We talked about the post office, the traffic condition at the post office. On the 29th, we did a checkpoint in front of the post office, a police checkpoint, and we wrote 27 tickets. Including 2 cars that tried to avoid our checkpoint, suspended license drivers that made a quick turn. We got them too. Hopefully that helped a little bit. Well, it was about an hour and a half. We wrote 27 tickets.
Don't make it the last time. Keep doing it. Random.
We talked about neighborhood in Whittier by the deli. That came up a bunch of times. On the 4th of this month, the same guy that hangs out there was arrested again with a warrant by the co-op officers. Then on the 6th, the co-op officers were over there and arrested another guy after an uncooperative guy who ended up having to be chased down. So that's 2 arrests just last week there. So it's a patrol check. We've been checking it. When the guys check it and find somebody there, you know, with a warrant or they get arrested. We talked about bike patrol. On the 5th, I had 2 guys out here on bike patrol. Neighborhood road, up to the high school, back around. They were out here for like 5 or 6 hours on bicycles. So I was able to get that done. The speed sign was requested for Wave Crest. I got it out there yesterday. So it'll be out there 2 to 3 weeks, as long as it doesn't, the batteries last. It'll be out there, and we did do some enforcement over there too on the stop signs. Stones is more written on the stop signs up and down Wave Crest. We did do that. We also talked. A couple of people talked about quad complaints. I have a couple of patrol checks in the system, which means just in that, you know, in the area. Woodside was an issue. The marshland was an issue. The checks are being made. Hopefully, we can. Once they get impounded, it's $500 to get them out. It's usually a good deterrent. If anybody else has any issues or areas that we need, you know, you think that we need to address, you know, let me know. Because everything I hear here, I have somebody address the problem. I know stop signs is always a major issue. That's a precinct-wide stop sign issue. You know, for every one, there's 20, 25 more stop signs. And we're on it, and you know, and we're writing tickets.
Could you address a couple of things that appeared in your state recently? There have been 2 stories about, you know, crime and possible crime locally. Do you want to address those or not?
Specifically? Well, that was a domestic issue. A lot of times with the domestic violence, the police, no matter what we do, it's still going to happen.
No, I understand.
So,
and that was one thing. The other one was this, you know, something's being investigated as a hate crime.
the spray paint. Well, the hate crimes unit, if it's a hate crime, they're going to investigate that, and you know, that's probably an ongoing thing that they're investigating. But yeah, they get called out, and that's their investigation. But that's being looked into.
We got new neighbors, and they weren't even there a week, and you guys were 3 cars on the corner of Monroe Road, and I forgot the cross street there. 3 of you guys had a drug deal.
Right.
canine dog, and they just moved in.
Yeah, I mean, there's the drug complaints consistently come in too. Usually we gather as much information as we can and we forward the information to our narcotics unit.
The word is
Sometimes they look into it,
nice.
sometimes it comes back to us and we look into it, but they usually get first crack at it.
I haven't been worried down there, you know,
Okay.
well, our house is gone on, from us, but it made me nervous because they weren't even there a week. And
Well, if you see something going on, call, especially if you see something actually going on now, 911, they'll send a car. They're more reactive to 911. I have 8 guys that I send out to all these different locations, the drug complaints, the car complaints, the stop signs, they make arrests, so. Sure, guys.
Can I find out what can be done with the cops coming to my house constantly?
Okay, for what?
142 Hemlock Drive.
Okay,
We have the cell phone tower behind my house. I just got a text even right now from my daughter that you guys showed up there, seeing if anybody called 911.
right, well, the enhanced 911 system, sometimes the address of the cell tower or the vicinity comes up.
I know, but it's
Yeah.
3, 4 in the morning, and now it's, this past 2 weeks, you've been at my house, no lie, 10 times.
So I just came up last month where apparently whoever's calling 911, the return address is coming to their house.
Right.
So they're the ones getting woken up in the middle of the night, trying to figure out what's going on.
You
Okay,
guys
what-
gotta
what's the
answer
address?
the call. 142 Hemlock.
But, yeah, it was just brought up by Gail. Don't tell them not to go to the house, because there may be a time they may need you.
Yeah, probably the cell tower, that's the address or the nearest address to the cell tower. So enhanced 911, a lot of times if it's a cell phone, they don't have anywhere to really send the officers, so they're gonna get the closest location to where it pings off the towers. So I don't know if we can do a lot
Oh,
about
but
that. but-
one time, you actually came in, not you in person, but somebody, my daughter was home, supposedly there was complaining that wife would beat up the girlfriend.
Right.
There was like SWAT at my house. I had like 10
I mean, on high
cars.
priority stuff like that, we gotta look into
I know,
everything we
but nobody
can.
was home, and she got,
Yeah,
we already made a complaint. She was 16 years old, and she's got guns drawn on her. You know, it was like scared. And not a good thing.
Can I mention about the gazebo? The gazebo, the policing of the gazebo is really a town issue, except that the town is, not around. So we've had meetings, we've had members come out of meetings late at night and be accosted by people who approach them for money. So our meetings end at 9:30, 10 o'clock, so that's kind of frightful. It's very fearful. Some of the folks are here now, they were actually approached, they got to their car safely, they locked the door. I mean, people shouldn't have to feel that way. I mean, the whole issue is people hanging out around and in that vicinity,
Right.
If that could be one of those cars or
Yeah,
watching.
right, and if you're about to leave and you see somebody suspicious outside, call. The cars are out here, they'll come by,
People were hanging out,
Carl's-
but then as
yeah,
people approach their
right.
car, they approach them.
But they're waiting.
Frank, I think the problem with that is the town of Brookhaven still, it's their jurisdiction. And if you look on the fence, their codes are there, but you gotta be a rocket scientist to figure out what them codes mean. We asked for a simple sign to be put up, no loitering from dusk to dawn, and they haven't put it up. So hopefully, in the real near future, we'll put it up. And we'll patrol at the gazebo area.
Right. You have a tremendous impact on what neighborhood road looks like. The more presence we have, because it's one of the things that really hurts us at times, the impression that they're wannabes or gang members or whatever, undesirable folks, that are approaching people now, asking for money. It's gotten to that level. That's not a good thing.
Judge, we had the bike patrols down here on the 5th or the 6th, I believe.
I had them out here on the 5th during the day.
Right, during the day.
Yeah.
And just to back up what you had previously said, for 31 days, you wrote 126 summons in our village.
I don't have those numbers here. I
That's
didn't say
between
that.
Cope and the regular units.
Okay, what I said is the post office, we did a checkpoint, wrote 27 in an hour and a half on the checkpoint, but I could run the numbers in the village.
No, we did.
You have it.
I have, it,
Okay.
and we thank you for that.
One more thing, over in the shopping center where Smitty's used to be, shopping center next to it, I was walking into Eno's, and there was a drug deal, but they don't even hide it anymore. The guy was walking, I see him through the car, guy walks up to the car, hands the guy cash, guy hands him back tinfoil ball. You know, and I wanted to even tell the guy, I said, you should be a little more sneaky.
It was a
I mean, the drug arrests, my guys are constantly making drug arrests. Every day we're making drug arrests. So, we said I have 8 guys, and you know, between the 8, we have almost every day the drug arrests. Today, I know my guys already made 2 with the 2 guys I have out there. The guy in the day team, he had a felony crack arrest today. So the guys are out there and they're making the arrests.
Okay, thank you. Michelle?
Yeah, by the entrance to the William Floyd Estate on Park, I live actually right behind that, and every night, starting as soon as it gets warm, I don't mind that kids go back there, I know they have to go somewhere, but they are lighting fireworks from like 8 o'clock till like 3 in the morning, and it's just, you don't even know if it's fireworks, if it's gunshots, you know, we can see that it's fireworks. And they're out there with beer, there's bottles everywhere.
Call it in, 911.
I have.
Sometimes the fireworks, if it's very busy, low priority, takes a while.
Yeah,
That's
they're
the
back there
reality.
doing other
but-
things besides fireworks.
Michelle, is that right outside the William Floyd Estate?
Yeah. right
I'll
there,
get in
right
touch
behind
with the William Floyd State Police. There's actually police that live right on the
Because
property.
they sit on those concrete things that they have to
Okay.
keep it, you know, from being open.
Okay.
I want to add,
One question in the back.
Anything else?
We're having a problem with the house next door. I still haven't got total answers to it. Does the bank own it? Does the debt ban own it? I'm not sure. But we're also having problems with, sounds good, call 911. But just over this weekend, that's what we did. And instead of it being a halfway decent experience, instead it was officers coming to my house harassing me. I asked for it to be anonymous, and there's a reason. And these people are not people that I would want in my home or that I frequent with, and there's reasons.
Okay.
But again, I made a phone call on Saturday at 7:15 on Sunday, at 7:15 in the morning because of the music blasting. Nobody came, so I recalled at 7:40. Then the cops did show up, it was 7:45. By 7:55, they had came and left. Music went back on, so I called again, and that's when the officer decided to come up on my porch, so that I was not anonymous. And then, to go even further, he was very, very annoyed at the fact that when he knocked on my door, my husband didn't get up to answer the door and call for me.
I mean, if you want to talk to me after about something specific like this, you can talk to me after.
But again, if I'm having problems, to call 911 and have officers coming threatening that they're gonna arrest me
Okay.
with charges.
I mean, I wasn't there,
which
I don't know
told them,
what.
Do it.
Okay,
Maybe we'll get something done if you arrest the wrong person.
okay,
I'm not blasting music. And I will
Okay.
talk to you afterwards.
okay.
I'm getting texts from my daughter, they're giving her a difficult time, thinking that my family, it keeps on calling 911 as a prank joke. And they're upset, she had to show him her phone, show the phones in the house, we only have cell phones.
Right.
And they're there by themselves right now, so they're here at the meeting.
Well, you're
And they
saying the
asked me
calls are
that-
happening right now?
Yeah, right now,
Okay. What's the address?
142 Hemlock,
Okay, what's your last name?
Girardi.
All right, I'll call communications and see what's going on. It all stems from the tower, though, I'm sure.
It's usually a cell phone, but.
A lot of times, if it's something where somebody makes, that something very violent is going on, these guys want to, turn over every stone to make sure it's not a problem. That's on,
No, we know, but it stopped
Right.
for a while, then all of a sudden, since Memorial Day weekend, it's been
somebody with a
constant.
particular phone is nearby your house, that's why. maybe, you know, sometimes.
The church ain't gonna do that.
Was there any recourse on an explosion Saturday night?
I'm not aware of that, I wasn't here Saturday night.
It almost broke the windows. It should've-
Yeah, that came in around 9 o'clock, I believe, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and that was nothing more than a aerial device that was shut off down by the water. The fire department responded, it was unfounded, Suffolk County PD responded, but there was fireworks being shot off in that area during that time.
That was a bomb. That
That
was
did
a
not
fire.
sound like a fire.
That was, believe me, that was, it was considered like, what's the Blockbusters? It's a little bit one bigger than the Blockbusters.
Are they going through our
No, bigger than that, bigger than that.
M8,
That's a whole national security.
M8,
All right, we have no other questions. Sergeant Lutz, once again, if you can thank Inspector Neubauer and everybody for a great job, we appreciate it. Everything you do, everybody, okay, next, let's have a quick presentation from Michael Gracio? Lugocio, Municipal Services, do you need a mic?
Yes. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. I'm Michael Garcio from Municipal Services. We're municipal advisors for local governments. And I'm here to talk tonight about I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this, but the village board is going to be purchasing a piece of property. It's the nutrition center.
Yes.
For the town of Brookhaven. And they're going to be purchasing that for the village hall. So they're going to be moving all their, what they're renting now, so all their organizations, all their meetings and everything is going to be able to, they're going to be able to hold it at village hall, which is going to be the nutrition center. So they're purchasing it, and then they have to do a lot of renovations. So one of the things why they're doing this for is because that building they're in right now is kind of small, so the property that they're purchasing now is a lot bigger. They're going to be able to retrofit it to fit their needs, all right, and future needs going forward. So that's one of the main reasons why they're purchasing this building. Now, one of the things that they're going to be doing tonight, they're going to be passing a bond resolution tonight in the amount of $1 million. So I just wanted, that's the cost of the total project of purchasing the building. So I just want to let you know what the breakdown is too of this $1 million. It's basically $570,000 for the land and the building itself. And then it's $430,000 is for the renovations of the building. Renovations for the building. So that's the total cost of it, all right? According to the bond resolution, you cannot exceed those amounts. That's what it is. That's what's, it's basically written in stones. That's all they can spend on the purchase of the building and the renovations, all right? So, now, how are they gonna finance this? This is where I come in. How they're gonna finance it is, they're gonna be doing a bond resolution. They're gonna be adopting, again, they're gonna be adopting the bond resolution. And the bond resolution dictates certain things. And one of them is the dollar amount, which I went over. The other is the term. How long can they go out? And basically the term is 15 years. They can only do it over a 15-year period. And they elected to do it over a 15-year period. Our estimate at this point in time, the bond issue, $1 million over 15 years, we're using a 4% interest rate, and the total debt service will be about $90,000 a year to the village. Now, you're all sitting out there, well, what does that equate to me, the average homeowner? So I spoke to the assessor. Basically, the average homeowner will be paying between an extra $17 to $20 per year for the purchase of this building. So it seems like it's pretty reasonable. The village itself has a pretty sizable tax base, which is keeping the cost down to each individual homeowner. So that's basically the cost of it. Now, I just want to tell you the process also on how you issue the bonds. Basically, we have to do an official statement it looks something like this, the notice of sale. Basically what these documents do is they describe the villages, they describe the village, they will describe there's a lot of legal mumbo in there. And if you, the demographics of the village, such as population, where it's located, and also we put the finances in there. And then what happens is, we'll talk to the board, talk to bond counsel, talk to local counsel, we'll set up a date, time for the sale, and on that date of the sale, and that time, we send it out to all, we send the prospectus / official statement out to all the underwriters / bankers such as JP Morgan Chase, Merrill Lynch, Citigroup, little underwriting companies such as Roosevelt and Cross, Jeffries, and they all get this, they all get the information, they all get the time and sale, when it is, and at that time, if we say July 15th at 11 o'clock, we pick, whoever has the lowest net interest cost at that point in time will win the bonds. So it is a public sale, it's a competitive sale, we're hoping, again, at this point in time, we're estimating about a 4% rate. We think that's a little conservative right now. We're hoping the market stays firm where it is. It's been going up and down the last couple of weeks, but you know, we don't have control of that. But we still think that the 4% is achievable. It's a fixed rate, yes. It will be fixed. Once we sell it, the rates will be fixed. There's no variable rate. In local finance law for New York State, basically the village can't use swaps or anything like that. It's pretty plain vanilla. We'll put the maturity schedule out there, and then they'll give us a rate for each year. So it is a fixed rate, yes. Yes.
Have a tax-free municipal bond with
Yes,
that?
yes, it is tax-free. It'll be a tax-exempt bond.
Will they give the people of the village an option to buy them, or?
Basically, you would have to call your broker. You would have to call your broker and ask them if you wanted to purchase it. Yes.
How was the price of the facility established?
From what I'm told, they had an appraiser come, and the town agreed to accept the appraiser's price. Yes.
So this is Brookhaven Town's building? It was?
It was.
Right now, it's still Brookhaven out there.
Yes, so they're purchasing from the town of Brookhaven. Yes.
I heard the assessed value of the property is $560,000. The price is $570,000.
Yes, that's what's in the bond issue. Actually, I think the
What's
purchase.
the difference between purchase price and
I believe the purchase price was actually $560, right? It is $560. In the bond resolution, we always put a little extra in there just to make sure. So it's a maximum amount in the bond resolution. Is that $570?
you guys don't negotiate, like, try to get it down?
Well, yes. You want to speak on that, Brian?
You're paying higher than the assessed value. I'm not trying to get.
No, they're only listing it as higher in the payment.
Yeah. Right. We're paying $560,000 for the building.
So,
Yes. You can't go over $570. The purchase price is $560, okay? The bond resolution, I did say, the bond resolution states that you can't spend more than $570,000. But the,
Sometimes it be like an envelope for things like, because there's always things like closing costs and legal fees that you don't expect. I mean, I'm closing on a house and you have a certain amount of money set aside, but there's always a couple of little extra things that you don't expect because, you know, the lawyer needs this paper or whatever. And is that sort of what that extra money is?
that's correct, yes. Just in case, right, yes. Yeah.
Couldn't we maybe build another building to suit everybody? That would be less expensive than that?
You have to find a property first, then you would have to find a property big enough to suit the village needs, and then you would have to get the building, which probably would cost you everybody, and prevailing wages.
Prevailing wage would be 3 times the cost.
Yes.
And what was the tax increase on this?
It's between it's probably the average homeowner, between $17 and $20 per year.
Oh, so not even your tax term.
Per year, you're right, when you pay your taxes, it'd be
For the
approximately.
next 15 years, I'm gonna pay for this?
Yes.
You're paying right now to have to pay for this room right now, you're paying the fire department more than your $17.
Right now, we rent this building from the fire department. So you're paying for the rent of the building, you're paying for the custodians that set up, knock down, and do everything. You're also paying for them when we have court here. So, what's that? And then we rent the nutrition center, plus we're renting Village Hall. So by the time we put all our rent together, between $17 and $20 per year, it's a tremendous savings.
So how much is all of this rent? That was the thousand each month for all of these buildings.
You figured it out,
Show me the savings.
yeah, it was like $3,000 a month.
It's over four. It's $2,400 just for this building. It's $1,200 for the trailer. It's $750 for the building up front. And then whatever maintenance over here. Quite a bit.
And we're paying someone else's.
Also, he didn't
They're
explain
renting
it,
from someone.
he didn't really explain it well. The taxes are not gonna go up $17. $17 of your taxes, he didn't say your taxes are going up $17. What he said was $17 of your taxes will go to pay for the building. It is
Let's try to keep it from crossfire, please, one at a time.
I think we are going to have a discussion about the building as a whole. He's just presented the new status, that what it's
Yes.
called, rules and how they're proposed. But the pros and cons of this, we really haven't discussed yet, and I have things to say about that, so I'll wait until
Okay.
that part of the discussion.
Right, but as far as the cost of the building would be between $17 and $20 per household. If the village budget is able to absorb some of that, then it would be, it would be less than that. But that's basically the cost. It would be $17 to $20 per household. Yes.
On this here, I understand the 17 and the cost of all the rentals, it makes perfect sense to get your own building. On your reconstruction, is that gonna be competitive bidding, or how is that gonna be handled as far as the construction?
Yeah, pretty much, but the reconstruction of the building, the nutrition center,
As the gentleman said, you're gonna reconstruct it according to your needs as to what your.
correct.
So is that gonna be?
It's not gonna be done in-house, it'll be competitive building.
Yes.
There's two questions. One is, what is our bond rating here? And the other one, I'd like to know, are we not gonna use the other village hall anymore, or are we still gonna be paying for that?
No, we're not gonna be using that anymore.
And the other, I'm sorry, your first question, right now the village doesn't have a bond rating. But we're anticipating it'll be somewhere in the A category. Yes.
I'd like to know, was there any negotiation on the purchase price with town hall? Just because it was assessed, was it?
What happened with the process, we were hoping that we would get a lower price with the town. And we had asked them to give us a lower price, being that we're all taxpayers.
And they're gonna be collecting taxes on this, right?
No, it's gonna be village property, so it's gonna be exempt. But we used an appraiser, we didn't use the assessed value. Assessed value doesn't have anything really to do with, that's a tax question, it's not really a fair market value appraisal. So I don't wanna mix up assessment with fair market value, so it really is kind of two different things. But your fair market value, we use the appraiser the town uses, Carol Sweeney, as their appraised value. The town attorney and the town supervisor and your local town councilman accepted that appraiser from us. We asked if there was any movement on the price and tried to negotiate. and they said, no, we'll accept this appraisal, that's the number, we think that that's fair, we'll take it. The town board passed their resolution approving that number.
Yes.
What's the square footage, lot size, and does that have a basement?
Yes, it has a basement. The, was it over an acre property? It's over an acre property. Plenty of room for our needs, so we shouldn't really have too much of a problem.
The building size like square footage?
It's got a park, 3,200. And then parking, you can do that whole piece of property on that corner, plus the building is all going to be village owned. Sir?
The portables you have over there at Village Hall now, didn't you lease those for a number of years?
You mean the building in the back?
Yes.
I think we actually leased it, the option to buy.
Okay.
We're just waiting for word back from the company on what the buyout price is, or whether to just give it up and just walk away from it.
So it is gonna cost money to get out of that?
I don't believe it's gonna cost money, no.
Oh, okay.
Only if you want to keep it.
Yeah, only if we wanna keep it. Nicole? I was assured by Mr. Panico today that when all is said and done, they will move the nutrition part of it up to Herkimer. I guess they're in the process right now of putting in a new kitchen up there. Yes. Sir, in back, Bill?
Yeah. It just comes to mind that we're paying twice for this building because it was our tax money that built this in the first place. Is there any consideration given to this?
We agree 100%, Bill, but unfortunately, you know, the town of Brookhaven, the only way to give it up is based on us going out to get it appraised. I mean, you know, if you'd like, you can call up Supervisor Romaine's office tomorrow and yell at him.
I think the question is, who else?
Ma'am, can you stand up?
Who else are they gonna sell it to, Bill? It's not like they have to sell it.
They don't have to sell it at all, they can keep it here.
Correct, but we do have a negotiating position because they want the money, okay?
We did negotiate, and the negotiation turned out, get it appraised, what the appraisal come in for, the board approved it, and that's what it is.
Well, their board approved it, their board approved it, and of course they would because it benefits them, but the taxpayers here helped build that building already, and there should be some consideration for that.
Yes. It's the taxpayers from the entire town of Brookhaven built it.
Right, and that would be us too?
Correct.
Thank you.
But I think, not that I agree with the point. I think the point is very well made. I have to say, I participated in negotiations with the mayor. The mayor was loud about that point at town hall, very loud. Their counter argument, not that I'm defending it, but their counter argument is, we in the village of Mastic Beach are now going to get the exclusive use of that village hall just for us. The taxpayers in Mount Sinai and Port Jefferson and Oldfield and Selden and Center Reach and East Patchogue are now excluded from that we now have it. I'm not saying that's a good argument, I'm just saying that's their answer for why their justification of why they could feel in charge.
And I do have another question.
And by the way, we agree with it wholeheartedly. I would just say it's a good question for you to ask your supervisor, your
Yeah,
council.
and one other question, we're saving money on rentals, but what is the building gonna cost us to run? We're gonna have to heat it, we're gonna have to insure it, what is?
We're doing that right now. You're paying for an uninsulated building, to air condition it, to heat it in the wintertime. You're doing it right now, so.
Yeah, but they're paying the maintenance costs on the building, and that would now.
And we're paying the maintenance costs on the building we're in right now too, so I mean.
Yeah, but what are the costs, Bill? I mean, there's costs to owning that, so, if you're gonna talk about.
Right now, you're familiar with the nutrition center, they just put in 2 brand new handicap bathrooms, they redid the whole floor, the whole place has been repainted. I mean, we're getting a good piece of parcel there. A lot better off than we are at Village Hall. Many of your residents complain when you come to Village Hall, we got no parking, the area where you meet in the front office is very crowded and congested. We gotta we gotta run good government, and the best way to do that is we need a bigger building to do it in.
But my question is, what's it gonna cost us? I mean, we talked about the savings.
It's gonna cost you $17 to $20 per year on your tax bill if we,
That isn't the question. What is it gonna cost us to own that building and run it? It's gotta be insured, we have to pay for electric, I mean, what are the costs?
we're paying that electric bill right now. Sorry to
What
that.
is it gonna cost?
Regardless of the fact,
Listen, please, quiet.
regardless of the fact, we do need a village hall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a little ridiculous. We do need a village hall. Simple as that. And it's $17 a month, a year, a month? A year.
Frank,
I just want to say,
Frank, address the question first, Frank.
I know that people ask about money, but the value of bringing something to the center of Neighborhood Road. And, as, you know, I mentioned to the officer, we did have that happen just a week and a half ago where 3 members who are here, leading a meeting at 9:30, 8:45, and 10 o'clock. They were approached by folks. So I love the idea that we've begun to build the center of Neighborhood Road. And I don't know how you put a price on that. I mean, look, when you come down Neighborhood Road and people come through our community, our village, they look at Neighborhood Road. So that's, I hope, is the beginning of a kind of growth of Neighborhood Road. You can't put a price on it.
Thank you. Just to let everybody know, if the town of Brookhaven want to eliminate the nutrition center, they can sell it to a private investor. And the way things are going in town right now, one private investor has 3 buildings that are vacant, and nobody's been in it for a few years, so we possibly could have 4. So,
You know, I just wanted to say that there's another aspect to this. All the way back to the time when Ed Hennessy did his study of revitalizing the downtown area, this was quite a few years ago, one of the major needs of this village to help us develop business and bring people to the downtown was parking. And what I wanted to say was that parking lot there is worth, you know, you praised the property as a whole, but the value of that parking lot, having municipal parking at last, you know, Patchogue developed us as a village because they have parking in the back of all the businesses. When people want to park now to go to the businesses, there's no place to park, you know, but if you have something clearly marked, municipal parking, we now have a municipal parking lot, and the value of that to developing the downtown of the village, I think this is very, very intelligent. Besides having a parking lot, you're also going to have a presence right smack in the center of the village. You know, it seems to me that it's going to be very hard for people to stand there and deal or loiter or hang around when the center of code enforcement, police officers who are coming in to talk to the village, there's going to be a lot of, you know, light looking at, you know, that part of town. And I really think that we can't be penny wise and pound foolish. I think that this is a really good idea. And I support it a lot because I think it will improve.
I've kind of been reading all the minutes.
Frank, please.
I've been reading all the minutes and I've been watching the video and I've been at the meetings. I haven't heard you guys discuss the need for a new village hall at any of them. I mean, I just don't know where the discussion was in front of the public, number one, besides tonight. And then my second question is, you know, what about the highway department? It doesn't seem like that's really going to be suitable to put the highway department, so it seems like we're going to also have to get a property or something for the highway department. And saying that, this means we're making capital expenses. I haven't seen a capital budget. I haven't seen a capital plan. 6 years, no capital budget. Lou Markosha sat up there and said, you're tax neutral as long as you don't make capital expenses. This is a huge capital expense. I don't see any planning or budget for it. I didn't see any discussion besides what's happening now. Whether it's a good idea or not, I believe with the open meetings law, this was supposed to be discussed in front of the public. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be permissive referendums. It just seems like I hate to say it, but I mean, from the beginning, I always said 5 people are gonna get to make these decisions, and I believe we're seeing now that the 5 of you get to decide. We get a bond for $1 million, you get to decide where the new village hall is without us being involved. So I just wonder where this discussion was in the past 4 months. I didn't see it anywhere.
This discussion's been going on, it just didn't happen overnight, and believe me, we didn't have no secret meetings to discuss this.
Then when was it? I didn't see
The
it.
residents have told us, they come to Village Hall, it's congested, we need to get a bigger place.
Okay.
We looked into it, I have numerous talks with Ed Romaine and Dan Panico, and this is the best we could come up with.
I understand, but my question is when was it discussed at a public forum?
Right now.
This is it. So this is the only public forum that
And it
that's
was discussed at
happening.
work sessions too.
I didn't hear it discussed.
Well, then again, you weren't at every one, Maura.
What's that?
At this time, not to change the subject, I want to introduce Stacy French, who's our new village treasurer. She just wants to add to that.
I want to say I read the resolution. After, part of the process of going for this referendum, you do have 10 days that's going to be posted after this meeting, and then 20 days to bring your comments or petition in. After that, then I have accounts, I would ask the board for permission to set up the capital accounts. I wouldn't, that's when you appropriate the fund balance that you have from the year before, and then you start a project. But until you have a project that you have that's tangible, that you can see, then you can start basically setting up your capital fund project. And we would do that, absolutely, with 2 different line items, one for the equipment and one for the building and land purchase. And then we could start going out for community grants from the county. There's so much more you could do with something like this once you establish capital projects.
Thank you. Just to let everybody know, we've been talking about this for some time, and maybe it was a little bit quiet. Maybe one of the reasons why it was quiet is because if you start the word going around that the village is looking for property or the village wants to buy some, you have other people that come in now, and all of a sudden, they're gonna buy it out. We did that with Smitty's, we did that with the associate, and they were bought out from underneath us. We did talk about this at work sessions. It's $17 to $20 a year. We did as much research as we possibly can. There's no property size left in the village of Mastic Beach to do something like this. We even went as far as getting a prefab building, which came far over what this amount is. So we're going into a building that's pretty much modified to today's needs. Very little that we have to do as far as maybe just putting petitions up and whatnot. We have a place now to put our security cameras back up on Neighborhood Road. We have a better place now to, it's going to be, and I'm going to use town of Brookhaven, it's going to be the shining star of Neighborhood Road. Maybe now people will come in and say, hey look, they got the Village Hall right on Main Street, it's a beautiful place. We have a couple of stores going in right now. One's a meat market, the other one's California Fish and Chips. I hope, and Maura, you and I have a bet, you know what my bet is. If we as a village don't support the businesses that come in this town, they are not going anywhere. They're going to be open for six to 8 weeks, maybe, who knows, maybe 3-4 months, and they're going to close right down. We have to support them. We have to have something on Neighborhood Road that suits the village needs. And I know there's a lot of people, if I offend anybody, I'm sorry. We know there's a lot of people that hate the village. But we are trying to do everything we possibly can to make this a better place. The streets are now getting swept. It's just that everything that we try to do as a board, because there are people out there that hate people on the board, we got to get over it, man. We all got to get together and work together to make this place a great place to live. We're not looking for much. $17 to $20 a year in your tax dollars. Who knows? Maybe your taxes may go down next year. You know, it's, you know, you all laugh. It went down the first year we became a village. We haven't raised it since, so, you know. And?
I don't know, I might have missed this, I haven't been at all the meetings, but just for the general information of people, especially those not here tonight, because then when the word does get out, like you say, there's going to be a lot of people popping up and asking questions, but I
thought about how the school, when they do a project, many times they put out some kind of a flyer or some kind of a little brochure showing how they arrived at it and, you know, the reasons and the use and, you know, the pros and cons. And I thought one thing maybe, I know you looked into Associated and Smitty's, if even on a piece of a brochure of some kind, you could show the difference between if you bought Associated now and had to renovate that and landscape that and do all the work you need to do there as compared to, and maybe even another place, and just show the difference between doing that and buying this beautiful piece. I think it's a great piece of property myself, but for the general information of the people in the area, so you don't get inundated with people just popping in and asking any questions. If you had something that you could distribute, showing that, you know, the benefits of this versus those.
It's a very good idea. We definitely will do that. We'll get it out probably within the next couple of weeks. I mean, this is really, for the people that are hearing this for the first time, it was already in the Long Island Advance 2 weeks ago. And if anybody reads the South Shore Press, it was already in that 2 weeks ago. Matter of fact, there was a big article, they quoted Mr. Romaine on such a great job he did for selling it to the village. So I mean, it's not coming out for the first time tonight.
No, I read it 2 weeks ago. That was pretty much where it was talked about.
No.
It really hasn't been any.
I'll take a few more questions that we can get back to. Yes.
Neighborhood Road, we had a really nice coffee shop where we went in and they were books and there were things and there was nice furniture. She's a member of the Mastic Village. It was a beautiful thing. We have the hamburger place, you know, that's hanging in there barely. And the pizzeria, and I mean, but nobody wants to, I mean, we're talking about a shining light on Neighborhood Road. People can't even stomach driving down Neighborhood Road. Because of the people, no, before you like just say that, I mean, I'm talking about the empty buildings, the riprap, the thrift store that they opened and all the people hanging out. I mean, come on, don't even attack me before I finish what I'm saying. You know, I mean, there's a lot of cleaning up that still needs to be done and to make it comfortable for our community, to want to go there, to want to go to the gazebo, to want to go to events, to want to do things, you know what I mean? And all these empty stores and the laundromat and, you know, all these, the first store crap now on the corner, the gas station where drug deals are going down all the time, and my boyfriend hates drugs, hates cigarette smoke, alcohol, and he's watching it while he's pumping his diesel at midnight, you know? He's going to Hess now. I mean, the whole road needs a freaking overhaul.
And believe me, we're working on it. Just to let you know, I mean, comparison, the Associated Mark right now is selling for $700,000 the way it is. Smitty's is selling for $2.3 million the way it is. So, I mean, it's, you know, yes. I mean, there's a real estate name on the window in each store. Call them up. They'll be happy to tell you what they're going for. I'll take a few more questions right here. The question is, why does he think we're going to get an A rating on the bond?
Somewhere in the A category, from our experience, working with villages, we work with Fort Jet, Patchogue, and looking at the finances, that we believe they would be somewhere in the A category.
Vic?
So you guys first year saved it's about $185 a year in taxes. That's still been savings to us? So 185 might go down to saving 165?
One never knows. Yes.
Question, in the planning zone that would be the referendum and stuff like that, will there be a referendum, a voting referendum, will there be a vote on this referendum? or where it's just gonna be assigned, you know?
A permissive referendum is a process. The process has to be started by a petition, there has to be a certain signatures, all those kind of things that happen.
And you will go through that?
No, we won't, no, that's not, the board votes the resolution. If people in the community want to petition it, say to stop it, or to put it out for a question for a vote on a permissive referendum, there's a difference between a mandatory referendum and a permissive referendum. Mandatory referendum, the board would have to put it out to the vote, have the expense of which would be charged to the village, have an expense of bringing the Board of Elections down, the machines, setting them up, have a polling place, hire the inspectors, have like a little baby election. Only on that question. That's a mandatory referendum. A permissive referendum is if there's a petition drive in the community, say to start it. So this is subject to what's called the permissive referendum.
I'm just trying to.
What he's saying is you don't have to have a referendum.
Kevin?
Like you stated before, the goal of the village is to increase the business and get everything forward. By the village acquiring Smitty's or hardware, or the old hardware store, in essence, you're eliminating the business from the village, something that can be.
Correct. A good point.
Also, the tax base from that business is being eliminated. Once you take it over, that's the end of the tax. Right now, the nutrition center is zero tax.
It's neutral.
So we're gaining, in essence, we're leaving a valid business open.
Excellent point. Thank you, Kevin. Mario?
Really just more comment, but in my dealings, and as you know, I have nothing to do with this here, but in my dealings with commercial real estate, I believe, and maybe Brian could correct me if I'm wrong, just so people understand that any dealings that I've had with municipal properties, it's required by law that an appraisal be done. There is no, and I just want to make sure that people are clear about that. And that from what I understand, there might be a variance in negotiation, but it's very, very limited, like maybe 2 or 3%. And again, I'm not commenting on the appraisal. I mean, from what I can see, I think it's fair. But the fact that the village, the town said that they would just hold to the appraisal amount, they could have asked for a few percent more. I don't know, I just think it's fair. I think it's a great idea in the middle of the village. But to make a comment about, if I may comment, Bill, on your son, as a realtor, I am required with my where I have the contract, I have to list it, to list the price based on what he tells me. I have advised people, and there's some people that don't want to listen because they ask for way too much money. But,
well, thanks for turning yourself in, right?
Ma'am, was over no.
Do you have any ideas why he's going into Smitty's at this point, or?
Absolutely not. We had a couple of hearings. One was a gas station and a 50s diner. Just about anything I do know. Can I mention what might be in the works?
They're talking about it.
Actually, Walgreens right now is. If Walgreens don't look into it, they're looking to lease the property, the building's going to stay the way it is. I mean, he wants to put a mega laundromat there, which is only less than 100 feet away from a laundromat that's already in the shopping center. So we're trying to work with everybody that can put something nice there. Nicole, I'm going to take a few more questions because we got a big agenda tonight. Nicole?
Especially people are complaining about the riprap there. Maybe if the village is there, they themselves, the workers, will see what's going on and really can get their hands on it and clean up. And also bring you guys down there and frequent these stores as well.
Thank you. Nicole? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What was that?
Village owning that property, how does it affect the civic organizations, the events they have, the nighttime meetings that they have there?
Well, you'll be able to do everything at Village Hall now. The way the building's set up is where we have the work sessions right now, that will be the offices. On the other side of the room will be your meeting hall, will also be Village Court. So in a way, we're trying to work with everybody. I mean, believe me, nobody hears it worse than me. The fire department would like their privacy back. I mean, they deserve it. They do a lot of work around here, and every time we have a meeting here, I'm sure I'm gonna get about another half a dozen phone calls from the chief tonight. We don't have the parking facilities here. We don't have the room. When we have court, we have people walking all around the firehouse. The firehouse actually puts extra people on for security, because we find people roaming the building. We don't want that. The village will have their own building. We'll be able to take care of our own needs down here, and it'll work out. Again, $17 to $20 per year is not a lot of money. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you have your Harvest Fest on weekends, and basically be made available through any organization in the village. Any organization in the village.
People are concerned about their taxes going up. That's what it is. For me, it is. I don't know about anybody else. I mean, I agree that we need a bigger building, and we need the space, and that is a good space for it. I'm trying to rebuild from the storm, and now you tell me I'm gonna have to pay another $20 more a year. That's what I'm already paying. That's my concern. My taxes
But she
going up.
saves on the garbage $185. No, you're still in the plus column.
Believe me, if somebody has the floor to speak, I ask everybody, please do not be rude to them. Give them the courtesy that everybody expects them here. The only thing that I can say is, this is great. A month ago, the school board, not to pick on anybody, the school board had a meeting. $214 million. The school district raised taxes, a total of $243 a year. Not one complaint at that school board. Not one complaint.
It's gonna go whether we.
But that's besides the point. Here we're trying to do something to make our lives better here, and
We don't got no kids, regardless, if you vote it, it's gonna go through, if you don't vote it, it's
but
going
you
to.
still go down and voice your opinion like you're doing here.
I'm
Right?
going to.
But it's too late. It's already
Well,
passed.
you know what I'm saying.
All I'm saying is the $17 to $20 per year is really, I know everybody's trying to rebuild, that's why we have the people in the back. Hopefully enough, if we ever get to them, they have some good stuff for us. Okay. But, you know, we'll hold after Mike gets done, we'll hold any conversations till the end of the meeting. Are you done? Okay.
Yes, here with Sue, she has to read the rest of the bottom.
Okay, Sue?
On resolution, Village of Mastic.
State your name.
Bond resolution of the Village of Mastic Beach, New York, adopted June 11th, 2013, authorizing the acquisition of land and a building located at 369 Neighborhood Road in the village, and the construction of improvements to said building so that it may be used as Village Hall and Village Justice Court, stating the estimated maximum cost thereof is $1 million, appropriating said amount for such purposes, and authorizing the issuance of bonds in the principal amount of $1 million to finance said appropriation. The Board of Trustees of the Village of Mastic Beach in the County of Suffolk, New York, hereby resolves by the favorable vote of not less than 2/3 of all the members of said Board of Trustees as follows. Section 1. The Village of Mastic Beach and the County of Suffolk, New York, herein called the Village, is hereby authorized to A, acquire land and a building located at 369 Neighborhood Road in the Village at the estimated maximum cost of $570,000, and B, construct improvements to said building at the estimated maximum cost of $430,000, so it may be used as a village hall and village justice court. The building proposed to be acquired is currently owned by the town of Brookhaven and is known as the Mastic Nutrition Center, District 209, Section 25, Block 1, lots 18.1 and 19. The the aggregate estimated maximum cost of the project, including preliminary costs and cost incidental thereto, and the financing thereof is $1 million, and said amount is hereby appropriated for the purposes described herein. The planning of financing includes the issuance of bonds of the village in the principal amount of $1 million to finance said appropriation, and the levy and collection of taxes on all the taxable real property in the village to pay the principal of said bonds, and the interest thereon as the same shall be due and payable. Section 2. Bonds of the village in the principal amount of $1 million are hereby authorized to be issued pursuant to the provisions of the local finance law constituting Chapter 33-A of the Consolidated Laws of the State of New York, herein called the law, to finance said appropriation. Section 3. The following addition matters are hereby determined and declared. A. The periods of probable usefulness applicable to the objects or purposes for which said bonds are authorized to be issued within the limitations of Section 11.00A, 11, and 12 of the law are equal to or in excess of 15 years. However, the bonds issued pursuant to this resolution and any notes issued in anticipation thereof shall mature within 15 years of the original issuance of such bonds or notes. B, the proceeds of the bonds herein authorized and any bond anticipation notes issued in anticipation of said bonds may be applied to reimburse the village for expenditures made after the effective date of this resolution for the purposes of which said bonds are authorized. The foregoing statement of intent with respect to reimbursement is made in conformity with Treasury Regulation Section 1.150-2 of the United States Treasury Department. C. The proposed maturity of the bonds authorized by the resolution will exceed 5 years. Section 4. Each of the bonds authorized by this resolution and any bond anticipation notes issued in anticipation of the sale of said bonds shall contain a recital of validity as prescribed in Section 52.00 of the law and said bonds, and any notes issued in anticipation of said bonds shall be general obligations of the village, payable as to both principal and interest by general tax upon all the taxable real property within the village. The faith and credit of the village are hereby irrevocably pledged to punctual payment of the principal of and interest on said bonds, and any notes issued in anticipation of the sale of the said bonds, and provision shall be made annually in the budget of the village by appropriation for A, the immortalization and redemption of the bonds, and any notes in the anticipation thereof to mature in such year, and B, the payment of interest to be due and payable in each year. Section 5. Subject to the provisions of this resolution and the law of the pursuant to the provisions of Section 21.000 relative to the authorization of the issuance of bonds and substantially level or declining annual debt service, Section 30.00 relative to the authorization of the issuance of bond anticipation notes, and Section 50.00 and Section 56.00 to 60.00 and 168.00 of the law, the powers and duties of the Board of Trustees relative authorizing bond anticipation notes and prescribing the terms, form, and contents as to the sale and issuance of the bonds herein authorized, and of any bond anticipation notes issued in anticipation of said bonds, and the renewals of said bond anticipation notes, and as to the execution of agreements for credit enhancements are hereby delegated to the village treasurer the chief financial officer of the village. Section 6, the validity of the bonds authorized by this resolution and of any notes issued in anticipation of the sale of the bonds may be contested only if A, such obligations are authorized for an object or purpose for which the village is not authorized to expend money, or B, the provisions of law should be complied with at the date of the publication of such resolution or a summary thereof are not substantially complied with, and an action, suit, or proceeding contesting such validity is commenced within 20 days after the date publication pursuant to section 81.00 of the local finance law, or C, such obligations are authorized in violation of the provisions of the Constitution. Section 7. This bond resolution is subject to the permissive referendum, and the village clerk is hereby authorized and directed within 10 days after the adoption of the resolution to publish or cause to be published in full in the Long Island Advance, a newspaper having general circulation in the village, and hereby designated the official newspaper of the village for such publication, and posted in at least 6 public places, and in each polling place in the village, a notice is substantially the following form attached. Section 8. The village clerk is hereby directed, and the said bond resolution shall take effect, to cause said bond resolution to be published in summary or in full in the newspaper referred to in section 7 hereof, and hereby designated the official newspaper for said publication, together with the notice is substantially the form as provided by section 81.00 of the local finance law constituting chapter 33-A of the consolidated laws of the state of New York. The adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly put to a vote on a roll call, which results as follows. Mayor Biondi?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sturts?
Yes.
Trustee Busa?
Yes.
Trustee Capiello?
Yes.
Trustee Morrow?
Yes. Just for the record, the mayor made the motion?
Correct, I made the resolution.
Trustee Capello second.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sue. And thank you, Mike, for your time, and appreciate it. And I owe a big apology to Teresa and her staff of hardworking people in the back. Teresa's from the United Way, and she brings nothing but good news to the village. The one problem that I have is, please, people, if you were involved with the storm and you need any kind of help, we know a lot of people out there were financially strapped, can't pay your oil bills, can't pay electric bills, you're trying to fix your house back up with appliances and whatnot. Nobody's coming to the village. So maybe Teresa can say it better than I can, but we got the resources, we just need the people to come forward. Teresa, with that, you need Mike?
So first of all, I really like the candy bar chuckles. Is this what keeps it going? That's pretty good. So, good evening, and let me just say, it is terrific to see civic engagement at the local level, even though I know it's difficult. I know we have a lot of advocates with us this evening. So I'm the President and Chief Executive for the United Way of Long Island. The past 7 or so months, we've been fairly busy and involved in raising some support for residents all throughout Long Island. I started meeting with your mayor a few months ago to figure out how we can bring a team of people in with the resources that each and every organization has. And so tonight, I'm going to say, in the interest of time, I know, Bill, you have a few people to introduce, but I think to move things along, it would be best if I just acknowledge my colleagues that are here, from Island Harvest, from Catholic Charities, from Clubhouse of Suffolk, Project Hope, from Family Service League, and our partner in an endeavor that we're going to talk a little bit about, the Progressive Coalition. We're all here this evening. Did I miss any organization's name in terms of?
Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat for Humanity's here, okay. So this group in the back is really staged here to help with hurricane recovery. So let me just get an idea. How many people in the room are whether in the middle of rebuild or have done rebuild? Can you just raise your hands here? Haven't started, so we've got maybe about 20 or so, 20, 25 families. So let me just say how, from the top line. So we were given an award of about $100,000 from a foundation that's very close to you all in Suffolk County in terms of proximity, the Island Outreach Foundation, part of the Knapp Sweezy family, and are very interested in trying to help people between Patchogue, Medford, Mastic, and Bellport in those communities. So what we did with this fundraising, especially with this fund, is we're going to be on site. The United Way will be on site with Progressive Coalition, starting fairly immediately, in that we want to do some assessments of homes that would qualify to come into the energy efficiency work that the United Way does each and every day. So we have a weatherization housing division. Our senior vice president here is Rick Wertheim. We have one of our contractors, AWS, Bob, thanks for coming out. We've got 2 or 3 contractors with us during the summer doing this work. And Lisa's group, the Progressive Coalition, has applications, has intakes, and they're going to be assessing homes with Tim. Hello, good to see you again. Over the next 3 or 4 weeks for people who want to take advantage of having weatherization work, energy, air sealing insulation, cellulose spray, giving you a better deal in terms of what you're paying now with LIPA gas or electric or whatever your utility bills is. Our interest is lowering your bills. Now we're going to be able to do this for you for $0 for the homeowner. So what we have to do though is we have to be able to qualify the homes, and Lisa's back there. Lisa, raise your hand, step up with your team. They'll be doing some door-to-door canvassing. We're going to hook them up with Tim to make sure that we at least can get 20 projects moving quickly in the village, and then work with you all on the rebuild work that needs to be done in addition to the weatherization and the energy insulation and everything in your homes. So we have, this is what everybody has to know. Back there, there's little cards that say 211. It's a 211 on your phone dial, and it might, hopefully it doesn't go to your cell tower.
Oh, it will.
And if you're dialing from a cell phone, it would be best, and the cards are back there. There's an 888 number, so it's 1-888-774-7633. If you are in need of helping with your rebuild, so if you got either something or nothing from FEMA, or something or nothing from insurance, and you have not enough assets to do the work that needs to be done in your home, whether it's mitigation, whether it's raising, whether it's you're over the 50% rule, you're under the 50% rule, you need to, you got a FEMA award, but you need to appeal that award. If you call that number, you're going to ask to get in touch with a disaster case manager. That case manager is going to take your case and help you find all the resources you need to rebuild. Whether those resources are going to be with the new New York Rising program, some of you have already filled out a short form. Those of you who filled out a short form and qualify are going to be filling out a long form. And this is the federal money that sort of trickled down, and now it's community block grant money, and the state's holding on to it, and there are already about 25,000 residents across Long Island who have filled out the short form. So these disaster case managers are going to take that case on with you and help you get to this end game, whatever that is. And I know it's been a very, very long road for so many, right? So we want to make sure that then the money that United Way has raised, the money that the Red Cross has raised, the money that is private money that has been raised across Long Island, your case will come to what's called an unmet needs roundtable. And that means your disaster case manager has exhausted all other funds that are out there for you, and then your case is presented by someone, whether it's from Catholic Charities or Family Service League, or actually the two groups with us tonight, Charities and Family Service League, who are disaster case management agencies. They employ people very specifically for that function. So when you get connected to them, that case manager brings your case to the table. United Way's raised about $5 million in the past few months. So what happens is they say, okay, this is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They got X from FEMA, Y from insurance, this from this pot, this from that pot. They still have a $30,000 unmet need. Who will give them a grant? And so the United Way steps forward and say, okay, we're going to put $10,000 towards that case. Red Cross does it, Salvation Army does it. So we have coordinated the funding privately in one place and space so the disaster case manager can access the funds needed for the rebuild on behalf of the family. Now there are income eligibility issues with everything, right? So if you earn $90,000 or less for a family of 4, there's a sliding scale above that, your case is going to be eligible for the Unmet Needs Roundtable. If you earn more than $90,000 in the household for a family of 4, there's another pot of money to take you through. The state has not decided income eligibility for the community block grant money, which is actually a good thing. They're waiting to see everybody register in, then they're going to do like a means test. And they need 50% of the homeowners to be above a HUD guideline that I think is going to be 80% of median, which is about $72,000 for a single person in the household, and then it goes up from that point. So we know that there are a lot of homeowners that are going to be eligible for a lot of support, and as we go, whether it's in Long Beach or Freeport or tonight in Mastic Village, Mastic Beach Village, let me get that right, the MBV. We will make sure that we need for you to get connected in order to help you. No other organization, there's not, Catholic Charities, Family Service League, there's going to be a couple of Latino-based agencies that we're going to bring in as well if there's a language barrier at all. There are only 6 organizations who are designated as disaster case management agencies. So when you call that 211 number, or that 188 number, because we don't want to get all the phones going to her home, you need to just go ahead. They're going to give you a choice of who do you want to work with. It really doesn't matter who you want to work with. You know, they're all trained to take the cases through the same funnel. We pay all the vendor bills directly. So the United Way's pot of money is paid directly. So if you've picked Bob to do whatever Bob's going to do in your house from AWS, we're paying the vendor directly. If you have credit card bills that you've put all your appliances on and no one helped you pay for those appliances, we can pay a credit card bill directly. We cannot put money in the hands of a homeowner for anything that's out there. So we're regulated like by the Attorney General. They audit, we give them a 60-day report. My finance officer is here. Jim, aren't you a Mastic Beach Village resident?
At one time.
Okay.
I was born in Bayview Hospital and graduated from William Floyd High School in 1968.
All right. And Jimmy's been a bookkeeper over at United Way, oh God, for about 25 years. He's a great guy. So we're here tonight to really get you connected, and people who need help, even if you're neighbors that you know, maybe you didn't sustain a lot of damage, but someone on another block did. Someone hasn't even done rebuild yet. Some people are in their house, some people are out of their house. The disaster case managers could take you through Red Cross's fund, which is the move-in assistance program that they announced. So there's a pot of money there. So there's about 4 or 5 different ways for your case to get supported and funded. And it starts with that call to 211 or the 188 number. Get a disaster case manager, get connected. We're going to have Lisa Tyson and the Progressive Coalition doing some canvassing over the next few weeks. We want to do these 20 rebuilds quickly throughout the summer. We want to try to get as many projects on the grid as we possibly can and get you folks back in your homes and the great communities that you live. So I want to stop there and take any questions, and then certainly if there's any of my colleagues that want to come up and add, Rick, maybe you can just come for 2 minutes up front and talk a little about exactly what the weatherization project that we'll do in these homes, and I'll take a
I
question.
just have a question. We called 211 when, November? Whenever you first announced it.
We still don't have a case.
We still don't have a case.
And neither do most of our neighbors.
And most of our neighbors don't.
Well, what 211 will do is they will give you referrals for you to call a case man. They're not going to assign you one.
They're asking, they say, wait.
Okay.
If you call Catholic Charities, they'll assign you a caseworker. The Family Service League, they will
But no
assign
one
you a
ever assigned.
caseworker.
We never get to be assigned. They get that, what we'll get.
Okay, Trish, what do you have back there in terms of the one pager with the disaster case management agency names?
There's 7 names on the list.
Can you come up with it? You need one disaster case manager.
Exactly.
That's it. You don't
And that's
need,
what becomes confusing for people too.
you need one from one organization to take the case. So, it's FEGS, Catholic Charities, Family Service League, Lutheran, Hispanic Brotherhood, Adelante, and La Fuerza. Those are the organizations that are disaster case managers. So take the flyer.
No, we've spoken to people
Oh, you have?
multiple times.
But did you get a disaster case manager yet?
We'll get back to you with a case manager and never.
Okay, you're gonna go tonight to Catholic Charities right now. So get up, Catholic Charities, raise your hand back there. You're gonna take his case. Then Catholic Charities is gonna take your case as a disaster case manager. If anybody is not connected in this room who needs a disaster case manager, there are 2 organizations here to do that tonight.
I did the same thing. I called a long time ago. I told them, we'll assign you a case manager, we'll be back to you within 6 to 8 weeks. And it's actually been about 5
Yeah,
months.
there's a communication problem because 211 does not assign you someone. 211 gives you the referrals to the agencies and a phone number for you to make the phone call to the agency and say,
I was told that they
I
would
need
get
it.
back. I don't think I called the 211.
Right.
I called the number that came
You called someone else again. I'm just saying tonight, we have Family Service League here and Catholic Charities who can take the cases. If you're not connected right now for a disaster case manager to get you through this process. Yes, sir?
What about New York State Sandy Health?
New York Sandy Health is the New York Rising program, and you're here?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you can, New York Rising is here, so rise up and come on up. Yeah, you know, Rick, just give them 1 minute on the energy efficiency projects that we're trying to do. And I think we're gonna use people in the back to sort of get connected, but Rick, here you go. All right, thanks, everybody.
Good evening. See that? Now you have your disaster case managers right in the back. So what we're trying to do with the energy efficiency is while you've been through a lot of turmoil and chaos, the opportunity to do some really significant energy efficiency improvements is now. So if you were going to have your engine or transmission rebuilt, you definitely, while you have the whole thing torn open, you would definitely replace some very important pieces. That's what we're looking to do in your homes with this program. So when we do energy efficiency upgrades, we're mostly talking about air sealing and insulating. So this is the things after you close your house, the walls back up, this will stay, remain with the house, will provide you with durable, sustainable, healthy, comfortable conditions while saving you money at the same time. So it makes a whole lot of sense for us to come in and do this work in your home so you can reap the benefits moving forward. So most of the work that we're going to do with crews that are very, very highly trained. We've been doing Department of Energy weatherization work for over 10 years. We've been managing more than $3 million worth of this work. We've been recognized nationally by the Department of Energy for innovation in energy improvement work. Many different towns, counties, housing authorities, other nonprofits, community development agencies come to us to help them do green and energy efficiency buildings. So we're very happy to provide this work in the community, and the Long Island Progressive Coalition is going to help us do the intake work so that we can stage and start doing the work for you. So is there any quick questions that you would like to ask me before I have to turn over the mic?
This work that you're doing is after the fact, because you're not gonna insulate my house until I get it up in the air.
That's an excellent point. So we're gonna have probably 3 or 4 different filters that will help us determine whether your house is a really good candidate or not. So if your house is above the 50% rule and you're gonna have to bring it entirely up to code and you're gonna have to start over, you're gonna have to raise it, you're gonna have to do a whole lot of stuff, you can maybe come back to us when you are ready. But for right now, when we start July 8th, because that's when we are looking to come to your neighborhood, we're going to be really looking for the projects that have what we call non-substantial rehab. So that's mostly anything below the 50% rehab value of the work that's done in the home. Okay? Well, we start the process by just going to the back table, and Lisa and her folks will take your information. And as the mayor said, we definitely want you, and this is important, we want you to sign on with a disaster case manager, because if we find that there's other items outside of weatherization that are needed in your house, we can connect you to other resources and funding pools. So for instance, I have a separate pool of money for emergency repairs for seniors. I have a different pool of money for folks who need accessibility modifications. We have different funding streams that are very specific. Our job is to help you make sense of it and put it all together. That's why we like you to sign on with a case manager. Any other questions about the program?
No, I haven't heard of this.
All right, so I'm going to turn it over to the New York Rising.
Little change of plan. I'd just like to let everyone know that we're talking a lot tonight about home rebuilding and the problems that you may be having following Hurricane Sandy because of home rebuilding. We're here from Island Harvest tonight with my pals, Jose and Joanne in the back, and I'm Lisa. We're here to talk about giving you some help with some of the other expenses that you have going. You may be finding that you're spending a lot of money on your rebuild, or you may still be in a position where you're struggling. We're here tonight to let you know that we can give you tonight a box of food to help you stock your shelves with non-perishable, it'll last a while food that'll help your family get by. Each box will help a family eat for about 4 days, a family of 4. We have that help for you tonight. We also want to let you know that Island Harvest is helping food programs here in the Mastic Beach Village area, where you can pick up those boxes even after tonight, and at their food pantries, we help stock those pantries through our food bank, and that help is available on an ongoing basis. But for tonight, if you want to stop back at the table, we can give you a box of food tonight if you're affected by Sandy, and you can go home with that tonight. And it's through a very generous partnership with the Red Cross, and we thank you for letting us be here. Thank you.
And thank you for Mayor Bianchi and the board for having me here today. I'll make it quick. My name is Nicole Christian, and I am a representative for the New York State Small Business Storm Recovery Program, the New York Rising. There is a residential side of the New York Rising program. I don't see a residential rep here tonight, but I speak with them regularly, so if you want to give me your name and phone number, I can connect you with the case managers on the residential side. However, I am your case manager and representative for business owners that were affected by Hurricane Sandy, Lee, or Irene. If you experience any business interruption, physical damage, if you need help with working capital, rehab, or repair, I'm the person that you would sign up with. I would be your case manager. I would walk you through and advocate for your application in the entire process. There are grants available. Yes, I said grants. There are grants available of up to $100,000 for eligible uncompensated losses. I'm at the Mauritius Mastic Shirley Community Library on William Floyd Parkway, Monday through Friday, 9 to 9. So I do a by appointment whenever you can make it. I can come to your business, to your community group, or you can come to the library and meet with me. And I do have... So very important one-page flyers on the program, what the eligible payment, what the eligible losses are, and contact information for me. So thanks so much. If you need to call them at 879-631-1588. And I work for the New York State Small Business Development Center at Stony Brook University. Okay, any questions? 631-879-1588. My name is Nicole Christian, and I'll be coming to your board meetings every month just to be here and make sure you know who I am and where I'm at. Okay? Have a good evening. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
And they got a phone in my house.
Yes, sir.
Did I just before this meeting?
Got an application with New York State Sample Health.
Call the guy in.
It's been
All my walls have been
accepted.
sealed up, insulated.
I got a phone call saying that they're acknowledging the acceptance of my acceptance. What am I gonna get?
Is this for a small business or residential?
You probably come in and
It's the
say,
same process, I'll explain. You are assigned a case manager. Only your case manager can review your final application and submit it to the USC. Unfortunately, they didn't tell us any of this before, after the applications were open. So for residential, if you need a case manager now, you should get someone here tonight so that you sign up with someone directly. For resident, you need a case manager to submit the application. It's the same for small businesses. You absolutely go in the back and get one. There's also a focus on coastal fisheries and tourism and seasonal-based businesses. So if you get 70% of your income in your business during the summer, you're considered seasonal. There's a special grant program for you.
If I could just add one thing. I gotta personally apologize to everybody because I know it's noisy and we don't usually do this at a village meeting. But these people were available for the last several months and nobody's come down to Village Hall
my problem through the whole thing.
and take advantage of them. So I invited them to the meeting. I take full blame for the residents out there that can't hear straight. They can't hear what's going on. I apologize, but as you can see, there's probably 2 dozen people out there that now have case like this. And with that, out of Senator Lee Zeldin's office, Bill Doyle is also connected up because we helped us also.
As you may know, in the very first moments of Sandy hitting Mastic Beach, Senator Zeldin was here. The very first moments, and here since. So basically, what I'm here to tell you is very simple. If you are still struggling with Sandy, if you have an application with New York Rising, we'd like to know. We will put together a database, and the senator will do what he continues to since the very beginning, advocate for Mastic Beach. So on the pad over there, I have plenty of cards, you can call the office. We'd like to know, just for the sake of having a database, everybody in Mastic Beach who has a New York Rising application. And we got it. I have some here already. There's a good dozen Mastic Beach residents have been working with us for at least a couple of months. And we will continue to advocate. So again, I'll have my cards, I'll pad, I'll give my cards out. Call me, give me your name and number, and again, the number you have, the confirmation number, is at New York Rising. Thank you.
Two more people, and I promise they'll be short. We got Mike and Sarah from Project Hope.
Hi, everybody. Mike Sorrell, Sarah McGowan. We've actually, with Facebook Project Hope, we've actually been in the a couple of people have seen us maybe with the West since November. Project Hope is an agency that really works with individuals who might need some emotional assistance after Hurricane Sandy. We provide free and complimentary counseling. We can do that in your home. We can do that in a group setting. When people have been affected, emotionally, we certainly think it's again, free and confidential counseling for anybody who's affected in an individual setting. Our agency works at an agency called Clubhouse in Suffolk. They're Project Hope in all the Preston area. Our friends at Clubhouse. So if you like, you think you Lynn's up front to speak with, we'll take us without, we can speak with you when we have some brochures with phone numbers. But our phone numbers are 471-7242, extension 1010. And that's it.
Again, we're happily trained counselors. We work with youth and families. We provide emotional support. And again, it's free, it's confidential. We also see reference to much needed resources. And again, going back to the library, sports,
Thank you. And my wife keeps telling me to do this job, I need counselors. I think stuff like this. We have one more from Habitat for Humanity.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lynn Gal, and I'm the community outreach coordinator for Habitat for Humanity of Suffolk. So we are a non-profit affordable housing organization. We also have a standing program, so it's called Habitat Helps. If you have had damage to your home from Sandy, you're a current homeowner and you have no interest in selling, and are less than 80% of the area's median income levels for a family of four, that's about $86,000. You're more than welcome to apply for this program, come out and prepare work. I have applications on the table over there for that program. We're also building homes in this area as well. So if you are currently a renter, or looking to live in this area, or know anybody who is looking to live in this area, we work with families within 40 to 80% of the area's median income levels, so it's like guidelines, like United Way was saying earlier. We are an affordable homeownership, so our families own these homes at affordable rate. They work with us to help build the home, and it's a great way to affordably grow. So if you have interest in that application, I'll have it on the table. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. What we'll do is, we'll get on with the rest of the meeting. Okay, item 6.